Hi and welcome to day 12 of our 30 days of yoga challenge. I've called today Believe, or our class today Believe, because we're going to be building towards Bakasana, which is a slightly more challenging yoga pose. There's a quote by Goethe, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe: "Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic in it." And it's one of those quotes that I've always kind of stayed in my mind over the years, and it's just about trying something new, not having to be perfect first time, but just opening your minds and believing that you can try something new. So we're going to build towards this. So Bakasana is an arm balance, but kind of entry level, beginner's arm balance, but we need to kind of open through the core in order to build towards the other parts of the body as well. So I'm going to kind of prep the body to make sure we have the best possible chance of getting into this posture. So we're going to start with a breathing practice called Kapalabhati. So this is a pranayama practice, breathing practice. And what we're doing is, it might seem a little bit strange if you're not used to it. If you know it already, I'm sure you already love it. This is great for strengthening the core. It builds heat within the body as well. So that's lots of different purposes, but that's one of the purposes. I'm including it because I want us to start activating the core. So all you're doing is you are on the exhalation, you're snapping in the belly like this. So it's a little bit of work to isolate the movement of the abdominals. You can see it even with if you can have your hand on your belly and you just snap the belly in. Okay, so you take a deep breath in and then you're snapping the belly in 10 times. Okay, so that's our practice round. You might not get it first time, but it's a really nice one to build into your practice. You're exhaling the whole time, so it's a very sharp, quick sort of movement. Okay, and you might feel a little bit, when the first time I did it, I remember feeling what part of me is moving, but you are attempting to isolate just the belly. So we're going to do this together. Just do your best. If it is your first time, then again, just do what you can with it. You can keep the hands on the belly if you want to, or you can just bring the hands into the lap or onto the knees. We'll just take a deep breath in. So we'll do this together. Deep breath in, and then we're going to snap that belly in 10 times. Okay. Take a couple of natural breaths. You might feel a little bit lightheaded. If you do and it's too lightheaded, then just come back to normal breathing. If you feel okay, we're going to go again, same again, 10, drawing the belly in 10 times after a deep in-breath. Relax, couple of natural breaths. Okay. And then last time, snapping in 10 times, breathing in. Relax the belly, take a couple of natural breaths. Okay, so we're breathing deeply, we're activating our abdominal muscles. Okay, good. So just something different. We're going to come, I'm going to turn this way. You can still face forwards. We're going to have a look at Navasana. So I did do this with you on one of the days. You've got the choice of where we come into within the posture. So you can, I've got the space here, yeah. You can either keep your toes to the mat. You can bring the toes from here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to move the arms out and in with the breath. So you might start here. You might have your legs here, or you might come into the full pose like this. And if you can, you want to try and lift your chest while you're doing it. So it's not pulling too much onto the hip flexors, it's not too much onto the low back. So just kind of do what you can with it. I'm just going to come halfway. But if you feel strong, straighten the legs. If it's too much, toes down. Okay, but you want to feel the core, so not just into the hip flexors. Draw up through the chest. So we're just going to breathe in, out. So we're going to do this 10 times. So come with the breath, breathing in, exhaling. Again, that's 4, breathing in, exhale, 5, hold on in there, you can always take the toes down if you need to, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to bring those knees in. So after those 2 exercises in themselves, the breathing and that, you should definitely feel that your core, your abdominals are starting to work. We're going to roll over onto all fours, or roll over the feet onto all fours, or just come to all fours. A few cat-cows to release the spine. So breathing in, gazes forwards. Breathing out, tucking under, really release the low back. Breathing in, so 2 more times, breathing in, your belly drops towards the mat, exhale, really draw that belly button in. Again, last time, breathing in, release the low back, so a nice release across the low back. And then that scooping up, opening across the shoulder blades, and then back to center. And then we're going to have a look at Dolphin. My cat's come to say hello. Say hello, Lenny. No? Okay, we're going to come down onto our forearms. They're going to be forearm distance apart. Elbows are forearm distance apart. So you can kind of do that obviously by taking inside of the elbows. And then you'll bring the hands back into a fist, so clasping the hands, but keeping forearm distance apart. We'll start with the knees down, so we're just going to do this 3 times, bottom above or hips above the knees. We're just going to come forwards a little, so it's a small activation of the core, chin just so it's over the fists, just with the in-breath, exhale, pressing back. Doing the same again, breathing in. Maybe if you feel to, you can go a little bit further forwards of the fists. Exhale, we can feel that stretch through the shoulders, inside of the shoulders, armpits. Last time, breathing in, coming forward, so gentle activation of the core. Exhale, and pressing back. And then we're going to do the same. Well, I'm going to give you an option. You can either repeat and then just try to go a little bit further as we move forward, or you can tuck your toes, lift up, like kind of as you would in downward dog. It's just advancing dolphin, so Advaita Shirshasana. So you're either knees down or your bottom up, and you're breathing in, coming forwards over the hands. Exhale, pressing back. So we're building strength through the upper body here. Breathing in, coming forwards, working a little with the core. And then last time, breathing in, coming forwards, exhale, pressing back. And then we're going to take the knees down. We'll come onto all fours and we're just going to lift up into downward facing dog from here. Okay, and then just take a couple of breaths. So adjust the position a little, press through the heels so you're opening through the back of the legs. Take a couple of breaths, shoulders away from the ears, nice wide spread of the fingers. And then you're just going to walk the hands back to the feet, bring yourself down into a squat position. So you can just, I'm still in the screen. Squat position, hands together, elbows into the inside of the thighs, draw up through the perineal area. So this is your root block, Mula Bandha, just keeping that energy within the body. And just take a couple of breaths here. Okay. And then we're going to push ourselves up to standing. Okay, so from your squat position, just pushing up to standing. Okay, so we're going to come into Uttanasana, so a standing kind of crescent pose. Feet are just a comfortable distance apart, so about hip width apart. We're going to bring our arms up overhead, and I know my hands, you can't see them at the moment in the screen, but I'm interlacing my fingers and turning my palms away. And I'm just going to breathe in and exhale to the side. So you can feel that stretch along the side body. So breathing. Okay, equal weight between the feet, so just stretching out through the whole of the side. Come back to center. over to the other side. Again, really feel that stretch along the whole of the side, so from the hip to the wrist. Okay, good. Come back to center and then bring those arms down slightly back, getting into those shoulders. Give the shoulders a little bit of a roll. We're going to have a look at the posture. It's kind of a preparation. I like to think of it as preparation for eagle pose, Garudasana, just through the legs. So I call it Garudasana prep. There is actually a name for it, but it's just to kind of open up the hips a little bit. So we're going to sit back, and you're going to bring the right foot, so the ankle is going to rest on the, so behind the knee, so on the thigh, I think you can see, and you're going to flex that foot to protect the knee. Okay, so if you know Garudasana, eagle pose, then we come into here. So this is a kind of preparatory hip opener. We're going to sit back into it, so find your balance, find your drishti. Okay, remember to flex that foot, keep that knee safe. And then if you want to, you can bring your arms up overhead. So this is now starting to work the core a little bit more. And you're sitting back, so knees behind the toes. You don't want the knees ahead of the toes. If it's too much with the arms extended, just keep the hands to prayer at the heart center. Okay, so you find what feels better. Just going to take a couple of breaths, so very strong through that standing leg. It is obviously a balance as well, so we're using our focus and our concentration to stay in that balance. Okay, keep breathing, and then bring the hands down if they're extended, come up to standing, give the legs a little bit of a shake, and we're going to do exactly the same to the other side. So again, you're finding your stance. You're going to take the left leg this time. The ankle is just resting onto that thigh, so just slightly behind the knee. Flex the foot to protect the knee there. Find your balance, that drishti always helps. So drishti is your gaze, that focal point to gaze at. Hands to prayer, or maybe overhead, and then sitting back into it. So strong, building strength through the quadriceps, so your thigh muscles, strong thigh muscles. Working through the core here. We are lengthening through the spine, so again with the arms extended, if it's too much, just bring the hands to prayer at the heart center. Okay, good. Breathing, another breath or two if you can hold. Okay, and then hands, release. Release the leg as well, and we're going to come into Uttanasana. So this is our standing forward fold, so we'll keep the feet this kind of hip width distance apart, and then let's just bring the arms, so interlace the hands behind the back, open across the chest, and then into the shoulders with our forward fold. You can keep the legs straight, you can bend the knees if it feels better for the back, if the hamstrings feel very tight, or you're just kind of opening into the shoulders just as much as is available. Okay, so just Uttanasana, opening into the shoulders, releasing each time you breathe out, that opportunity to soften within the pose. Okay, and then taking the hands down, hands onto the hips, nice slow roll up to standing. Okay, good. We're going to come into Trikonasana from here. So when we're building to Bakasana, we want to think about, so it takes a little bit of strength, upper body strength, some work through the core and open hips. So these are three elements that we want to bring together. So this is why I'm focusing on the postures that I am. So we're going to come into triangle pose. Your right foot is going to come out. Back foot is coming in if the knee is happy. If not, keep at right angles. Arms to shoulder height. Throw the hip a little, just to create some space. Reach, 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 and let that hand come down. So maybe up above the knee, maybe below, maybe you're to the floor. And then this arm again, your options to the hip. Maybe up overhead, or maybe the palms facing down, upper arm in line with the ear. So whatever's available, but you're thinking, keeping that shoulder, keeping that hip open. Okay, so we're not closing down. That is what would get us into the back, which is not a good feeling. So we want to protect our backs and strengthen our core through this pose. Okay, gaze can be up again. If it's not comfortable to gaze up, just have the head wherever it's comfortable to hold. Okay, and breathing. So Trikonasana, triangle pose. Let's take another breath or two. And then using your core, so strong through the core to come all the way back up to standing. And then what we'll do is we'll just take a slightly wider stance, so we'll come a little bit wider. Keep that knee over the ankle, not beyond the ankle, and we'll come into Bakasana. So we're just going to rest the forearm onto the thigh. Again, hand can be here, here, or in line with the ear. You can go deeper if you want. If you want this hand to come towards the floor, then do, or using a block. So your choice to go a little deeper if you wish. And breathing. So you're stretching all the way from the outer edge of your left foot to the fingertips of the arm extended. Okay? And breathing. So not losing the neck. Keep that distance. Okay. One last breath if you can, and then push away. That's it, get to standing. We're going to do the same to the other side. So for Uttanasana, it's a slightly narrower stance. So we bring the feet in a little bit. Legs stay straight for Uttanasana. You're still facing front. Arms to shoulder height. Throw the hip a little, reach, reach, reach. Hand comes down to rest. Again, it can be to a block. If you want to use your block, your hand positions or over, okay? So I can't remember what I did on the other side. So whichever you did on the other side, repeating it this side. Again, your hand is just kind of resting here, so there's a lot of work going on around the core, nice and strong. Okay, but you're here for support. You've got your hand connected to something for support, so there's not too much work going on, okay? And certainly nothing into the back. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. Okay. And then up to standing, strong up to standing, moving into Bakasana. So our side angle stretch. A wider stance, knee stays over the ankle, heel, yes, not beyond. Again, you've got your option to bring the forearm onto the thigh, or you can go deeper. Okay, if that's available and you're not turning down, you might like to go deeper. I'm just going to stay up here for today. Arm up, over, or onto the hip if you prefer. Shoulders stay down. Gaze might be up or forwards, or down even. Just find the position that is comfortable and that feels good in your body, okay? So a couple more breaths here, really strong, nice grounded posture, nice and strong through the legs. Good stretch going on throughout the body, really. Okay. A beautiful hip opener, so including this as a hip opener. And then nice and strong back up to standing. And we'll heel toe in a little bit. Keep the heels facing in, toes facing out, hands to prayer at the heart center. And we're just going to bring ourselves down through a squat, so coming into Malasana. So find your comfortable squat. Okay, you can always sit on a block or a cushion if it's more comfortable. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here. Okay, so from here, we're going to move towards Bakasana, so crow pose. This is an arm balance, but it is accessible to to beginners. So obviously you don't have to be just a beginner to do it, for everybody, but have some cushions nearby. So you can use, I'll just use this soft block as my cushion, but if you have some cushions, obviously you're practicing at home, so you should be able to grab something from your bedroom or from your living room. The cushion is really just for psychological, really, because it's an arm balance. The fear sometimes is the fear of falling forwards, so if you have something soft, or a blanket even, soft beneath your head, then you're not going to worry so much. I'll put it there and I'll just kind of show you where we're heading. So we've prepped the body. We're going to come, and I know it's not going to be, if you're not familiar with the posture, just have a go, okay? Again, I would advise that you put a couple of cushions in front of your head. Actually, let me just grab this one. Yeah, don't put that there. Just to sort of show you what we can do with it. You'll want to be sitting, so your knees, so there's two ways of doing this. Either your knees are going to be into your armpits, so if you're quite open through the hips, this might be available. If not, the other alternative that I've seen a lot in class is to have the knees to the outside of the upper arms. So your knees need to be touching the arms, otherwise you can't get the lift, or you'd have to just be super, super strong. So I'm going to show you where we're heading. You've got, if your knees tucked into the armpits, hands in front of you, so not tucked in here, but in front of you, and you come onto the toes, you're going to just move forward. So my elbows are not going to go beyond my wrists. These little alignment cues are really important for keeping you safe, okay? For keeping your body safe. So you must listen to the little cues. So your elbows do not go beyond the wrists, then you've got that support there. You can play with just kind of going backwards and forwards, play with the balance, a little shifting the weight. And the idea is to lift the toes. And again, I'm going to do it incrementally. So we're going to come forwards. You're going to think about maybe lifting one foot, maybe lifting the other. Okay, so playing, rocking, and then when you feel, or if you feel, and again, it might not be today, maybe you do the video again at some point and then play with it a little bit more. You're going to think about lifting forwards, draw up through the belly, so kind of draw the belly button towards the spine, find that a point where you can lift, and then you're maybe coming forwards and playing with taking the toes off. Okay, so maybe just a little bit, maybe you're going to go a little more, take the feet off a little bit more, okay, and then the toes come down. So it's as simple as that. You don't have to stay for ages. It's not, I haven't actually been working on it that much recently, so I can feel that was a lot harder than it used to be, but it really is about relearning, replaying. I have to say that I do end up getting bruises at the back of my arm, so don't, if you are resting in this position, you might, I'm just warning you in case something like, you notice that you've got some bruises there, but it's all, par for the course. If your knees are to the outside, you're going to be more, and again, remember the elbows not overshooting the wrist, you're more kind of squeezing, so you're squeezing into those upper arms in order to get that lift, okay, so you're thinking about squeezing. It's kind of about half and half, I think, when I've been teaching this. A lot of the kids I used to teach seem to come to the outside, my son included. A lot of the guys actually as well, but it is kind of, if you can hook them into your armpits, you've got that little bit of kind of resting, because you're resting the knees onto the upper arms, back of the arms. Okay, so you want to keep also the chin in. I should point that out really. So that if you're going to fall forward, your chin is in and then you're just down onto the top of the head. Okay, and that's it really. So having a little play with that. Bakasana, your first arm balance within this 30 days of yoga challenge. It's I'm keeping this kind of beginner's stroke intermediate, so probably will be the only arm balance we look at, but it's it's a fun one to include and a fun one to play with, but having those cushions nearby is good. Again, come back to this if you liked it and you want it successful as you want it to be, play it back. It's a short enough video to be able to play back. Okay, but that was really well done. So if it was your first go, brilliant. You're going to want to release those wrists. So let's just do a couple of wrist releases. Let's just take some circles, so maybe opposite direction. Maybe take the hands together, clasp them, roll them around. That seems to be the main complaint, is how strong it is on the wrist, but that's why you need to keep the elbows behind the wrists, and then you're just moving them forwards so they don't come beyond. Too much pressure on the wrist, it stays here and just really stays stacked. Okay, but that was very well done. We're just going to come into a gentle twist. So we'll just turn to one side, so we'll come to your right side, hand on the knee, back of the hand, whichever is more comfortable. Breathing, lift through the heart center. Okay. And then coming slowly back to centre. Go to the other side. You can change the cross of the legs. Let's change the cross of the legs actually. It doesn't matter though actually. We're looking at the spine really, but for balance sometimes it can feel nice to change the cross. Couple of breaths. Okay. And then coming back to centre. So if you do have time to take a longer relaxation, remember that short relaxation video I've filmed, so that might be quite nice, seeing as we've brought the heart rate up a little bit more. But in the interest of keeping this in a short sequence, we're going to close this session here, but do feel free to add on the Shavasana if you can. We're just going to close this practice. So let's just take our hands over the heart center for a moment. Just breathe into the heart space. Again, I'll just come back to that lovely quote. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic in it. Wise words from Johann Goethe. Okay, so thank you once again for joining me on day 12 of our 30 days of yoga. Namaste. Okay, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you.